Westmoreland Community Connections is a presentation of Citizens Fiber.
Welcome to Westmoreland Community Connections, a look at issues and happenings on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. Here now is your host, Jennifer Miele, Chief Communications Officer and Managing Director of Evangelization of the Diocese of Greensburg.
Hello, and thanks so much for joining us. Welcome to WHJB's Westmoreland Community Connections. My name is Jennifer Miele. I'm your host for this show on WHJB, and I'm really excited to have a special guest with me today, Cathy Duez. She's the treasurer of Tri-City Meals on Wheels, and what wonderful work you do. So before we talk about Meals on Wheels, let's talk about you. Where are you from? Tell us about your family, and then tell us how you got involved with Meals on Wheels.
Okay, I am from Jeanette. Okay. I've lived there all my life. My husband and I have been in the same house for 55 years. We have 4 daughters.
Oh my.
We have 6 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren and 2 step-great-grandchildren. We have a nice family. They're all quite successful, thank God. We get along. I became involved with Meals on Wheels after I retired. I used to work at TGI Fridays, and I thought, I've been a cook for so long that maybe I can help them out. Mm-hmm. And so I started at Meals on Wheels probably almost 9 years ago.
Wow. And you do all this work, wonderful, wonderful work for Tri-City Meals on Wheels. Why don't you explain to people who are listening right now, what is Meals on Wheels?
Okay, Meals on Wheels is an organization that cooks meals and delivers meals to our clients' homes. We prepare meals Monday through Friday, all volunteer. Everyone is a volunteer except for one paid employee. She is the one that takes care of all of our menus, does all of the food ordering, handles all of the volunteers in the kitchen who do all the cooking, and then we have actually my husband is the one that takes care of all of the drivers and runners in Greensburg. I take care of the drivers and runners in Jeanette, and we have 2 other coordinators, actually 3 other coordinators who take care of Harrison City, Fort Allen, and West Point. They handle scheduling all the drivers and runners who take the food directly to the clients.
Oh my goodness, what a wonderful operation. I mean, how many people are you serving now?
Right now, we're doing between 170 and 185 a day.
That's incredible. A day?
A day.
So let's back up for a second. So you have this one paid employee who says, okay, here's the meal schedule for the week. When do you cook it?
Every day.
Every day someone's in there. And what is the location where you're cooking?
We are on it's a Foster Street extension. We are right next to Red Devil baseball field.
Okay.
We go in, the volunteers start coming in usually between 7 and 7:30. We start cooking then, preparing whatever food has to be made that day. And by 11 o'clock, it's out on the road.
Isn't that amazing? Now, the food ordering, that costs money. So, I mean, obviously yes. People are making donations.
Yes. Well, our clients pay $3.50 a day.
Okay.
We also have a few hardship cases who pay nothing for it, mm-hmm. and a couple of other cases that pay half price, $2 a day. We've tried to, hold that down to as few as we can, because we have to make money somewhere to pay for the food that we do use. We have a pretty good clientele that are pretty regular with their payments, so we're doing well. We also rely on donations and grants. We do apply for grants from different places, and we have been very lucky to be in the position we are right now.
I think the amount of work and time and effort that goes into this, could you imagine if it didn't happen? Where would we be today?
I really don't know. I mean, knowing a lot of the clients that we have, this is the only good food that they really get. We're not making much contact with them right now. We deliver their meals. We either put them in coolers. They either put a cooler out, or if they don't have a cooler, we put them in grocery bags. Brand new, clean grocery bags, not the ones that are used by anyone else, and hang them on their door. It's hard. I mean, a lot of our drivers and runners are really disappointed that they don't see a lot of their clients because they have developed relationships with them, and there are some that our drivers and runners will go out and do grocery shopping or whatever these people need. And it's amazing. It's really amazing.
I'm going to ask you to think of one or two stories that maybe you could share with us while I welcome viewers to WHJB's Westmoreland Community Connections. My name is Jennifer Miele. I'm your host today, and joining me is Cathy Duez. She's the treasurer of Tri-City Meals on Wheels. And if you're just tuning in, you have to hear about this fabulous volunteer organization who is helping literally hundreds of people every week in Western Pennsylvania, helping to feed them, but also helping to feed their soul as well. So, Cathy, you were just telling me a little bit about the connections made between the runners, the volunteers who actually deliver the food, and the individuals whom you serve. But COVID-19 has changed a lot of that. I heard you say that even right now, you're not even reusing grocery bags. Everything has to be totally new.
Right.
So what's that done to operations in general? I mean, now you're wearing masks and gloves, and not that you weren't before, but here we are.
Right. Everyone wears masks. Everyone wears gloves. As I said, we use new grocery bags to hang the food on the door if they don't have a cooler. It's really hard that our volunteers can't
interact
with our clients. Some of them are still even waiting at the door, and then they'll just hand the grocery bag to them. And we're one of the things that our board has mentioned over the last couple of meetings that we've had is that we would like our clients to acknowledge that they're there, because there have been times that we have gone and knocked on the doors and couldn't get a hold of somebody, and
there was an emergency. Something was wrong.
There was an emergency. We did have one client that the driver and runner had gone and actually called our coordinator because they couldn't get a hold of him. They tried his phone number. They tried his emergency phone number. His truck was in the driveway, so they knew he should have been there, was not acknowledging anything. And finally, our coordinator got a hold of their emergency contact, which was his son. And his son went and found that he had had a stroke.
Oh, no.
But he had got to him in time, and he was fine.
Oh, my goodness.
And we have found some of our clients that didn't make it.
Right. And I think what you're saying is that what COVID-19 now prevents is the interaction between the person dropping off the food for Meals on Wheels and the recipient. And so what ends up happening is without that connection, without that interaction, your drivers, your runners are concerned about the well-being of these individuals, for sure. How important has that connection been? I mean, you've heard stories where people have become lifelong friends through this process. Is that right?
Oh, yes. There's one lady that always calls and talks to our coordinator, and Jess has even gone out to lunch with her, taken her out to lunch because she doesn't have any close family nearby, and a few other ones have done that. It's nice to see that they get a connection with a lot of these people.
So how did you find Meals on Wheels? I understand you spent your career as a cook, and so you're very good with food. And I've had your food at the spaghetti dinners in Jeanette. But how did you end up there?
Going on the bypass, I saw the Meals on Wheels sign, and I thought that might be something I'd like to do. So right after I retired. It was a while because I had bad knees when I did retire. And after I had my knees fixed, I decided that I was going to try. So I called and got in touch with them and went over and started working with them.
They are so blessed to have you. Anyone who knows you would know that for sure. You're listening to WHJB's Westmoreland Community Connections. My name is Jennifer Miele. I'm your host today, and I am joined by Cathy Duez. She's the treasurer of Tri-City Meals on Wheels, a fabulous organization that's serving almost 200 meals a day throughout Western Pennsylvania. What communities are you serving now?
We serve Greensburg, including West Point, Fort Allen, some of the outlying.
Some of the Hempfield area.
Jeanette, and Harrison City.
Okay. And how, if individuals listening have a relative or a friend who could really utilize this program, how can they get involved, or are you already at your limit?
No, we are not at our limit. We have the capacity to do more if we have to. They can call our kitchen and talk with Jess, who is our coordinator, and just set it up. We really don't have any financial criteria. As I said, we do charge $3.50 a day for a meal. Included in that meal is what we call a hot pack and a cold pack.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Okay, our hot pack consists of usually a meat, a starch, a vegetable, and that varies. And our cold pack consists of every day they get some type of bread, whether it's a bun or depending on what we're serving. They get a dessert, usually in a cup. It's either pudding or fruit, or we also put potato salad or some kind of cold stuff in there. They get a cookie or a muffin or angel food cake. And also Monday, Wednesday, and Friday they get milk.
How wonderful. And this is all so coordinated. When you, how many years has it been now that you've been there?
I've been there for almost 9 years.
Almost 9 years. And have you seen it evolve and become more data-driven, scientific? They know what to order, how much to order, all that stuff.
Our Jessica Dunn is our coordinator, and she is fabulous. She really does a great job. The menus have changed since she's come on board with us. The food is really good. Our food is fresh. We make it fresh every day. Yes, there are some items that we use, stuffed cabbage or stuffed shells or something like that. They come prepared, but most of it is fresh.
That is tremendous. And when you look at how much is done by so many volunteers, tell us about your volunteers and what kind of skills do they have? Name a few and tell us about them.
Well, every day we have between 4 and 5 cooks come in every day, and they take care of putting the dessert in the cups, or they put the bread in bags, or they do the cooking. Everybody has different life skills, and they all work together. We have recipes that we try to follow. Sometimes we tweak them a little bit, and we have fun.
I'm sure you do have fun, and I'm sure you're doing so much good for the community. And these volunteers, starting at what age, ending at what age?
Oh, we have a couple of younger. We have one woman who brings her grandson, and I believe he's in high school, but he, I guess, has, as they do now, have classes half a day, and he goes with her and delivers food. Our oldest, we just had a 90-year-old just quit. But
she finally retired, huh?
Yes, but she was having a few health problems, but if not, she would still be there. We've had 92-year-olds still driving on the routes, and our oldest are in their 80s. A good many of them are in their 80s.
So that leads to my next question. What if I can't cook and I want to help?
There's always something to do. As I said, we have people that put bread in bags or dessert in the cups, and that's easy to do.
You have used your time, talent, and treasure so much, Cathy, not only as treasurer of Tri-City Meals on Wheels, but you've also done a lot of work for your own parish in Jeanette. I've seen you back in the kitchen making some sauce and meatballs. Is that right?
Yes, I do that.
How did you get involved in that, and what kind of emotion do you feel from being involved in that?
Well, with that, I got involved with, we had the spaghetti dinner, and all the years that I've worked cooking and whatever, I hadn't had the time to devote to the church.
To the church, right.
And after I retired, I went down and worked at one of the spaghetti dinners, and I actually worked out in the dining room. And a lady that I had worked with at the old High Park Auxiliary said to me, "You don't belong out here. You belong back in the kitchen." So lo and behold, she was probably 90 years old at the time and taking care of the kitchen, still taking care of the kitchen. And so I think it was a setup that once I got into the kitchen, she says, "You know what, you can do this," and worked with me for probably 2 or 3 years and got me started in the kitchen, and it's been me there ever since.
Oh, they are blessed to have you, because not too long ago, I think you sold out your drive-through dinner, did you not?
Yes, we did. We did a takeout spaghetti dinner, which we've been doing for quite a number of years. And we did sell out. I was shocked. I was worried about the freezer that we have down there, that there was stuff in there that probably needed thrown out because it had been there for over a year sitting there. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to have room to put any of our leftovers in there.
Right. If I have leftovers, I need to freeze them. I don't want to waste it. Plus, you have other uses. You have clients with Meals on Wheels that could benefit from that. Right.
And we've done that. We've traded back and forth. I've brought stuff up from Meals on Wheels over there and taken extra stuff that we've had over to Meals. And I was worried about how much I would have left over, because I planned on 1,000 meals. But I honestly did not expect to sell it out.
And you did.
And we did. We made 1,675 meatballs.
Oh, my goodness.
That was amounted to 200 pounds of meat. And at the end of the day, I had 10 left.
Oh, my goodness.
We made probably, I think they're 6-gallon buckets. And we had probably 20. And I probably had maybe 2 gallons left.
Wow.
I was shocked. I was just completely floored that I had to go put a sign on the door saying sold out. I was tickled pink.
Ascension, Sacred Heart, they're so blessed to have wonderful people like you in Jeanette and helping their parish. And that's not the only way you help your community. Recently, you were named a Hero of Hope by Catholic Charities. You were named as one of those individuals who never stopped giving of your time, talent, and treasure during COVID-19. And because you agreed to tell your story about COVID-19 and what your organization continues to do, Catholic Charities has raised almost $200,000 because of your willingness to come forward and talk about the mission of Catholic Charities. So thank you so much for all you do. It's absolutely amazing. And did you see yourself on the videos?
Yes, I did. I was quite pleased. Quite pleased.
That's wonderful. And for anybody listening who wants to see Cathy Duez, the treasurer of Tri-City Meals on Wheels, and the honor that she received as this year's Hero of Hope, a winner, you can log on to the Catholic Charities of Greensburg Facebook page and see that video, because it's phenomenal.
This is Westmoreland Community Connections on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. If you have a suggestion for a topic, or if your nonprofit organization would like to be featured on this program, call us during regular business hours at 724-216-1200.
Westmoreland Community Connections is a presentation of Citizens Fiber.
We're really happy to have her on Westmoreland Community Connections, the program sponsored by WHJB here in Greensburg. My name's Jennifer Miele, and I'm your host, and today we're talking with Cathy Duez about Tri-City Meals on Wheels. And we've done so much talking, I'm starting to lose my voice already, and it's phenomenal. So you're serving almost 200 meals a day. It's an almost 99% volunteer-run organization, but what about other kinds of donations? And I ask you this because I think of, many people in my life who would love to devote their time and talent, but unfortunately with small children and full-time jobs aren't able to. So instead they'd be willing to donate their treasure. So what can they do? How do you accept donations?
We accept donations. Mail-in donations. We've gotten a lot of those. Even especially since this COVID started, we have gotten more donations than I could have ever expected. We also have churches all throughout Greensburg who donate cookies.
Mm-hmm. It's a very faith-based initiative, isn't it?
It started out in churches, and we are 50 years old. This year was our 50th year, and it did start out in churches, and I think it was spread out over a number of churches.
Right. But now your clients are non-denominational.
Right.
It doesn't matter. You don't ask about finances. You don't ask about anything. You just are there to serve the need.
Yes.
And that's really a remarkable task. You have volunteers from teenagers all the way to the 90-year-old, what you talked about with us today. And you talked about the COVID-19 impact and how difficult it's been. Now, when the stay-at-home order was issued, what happened to Meals on Wheels? How did that work?
We looked at all of the criteria that the governor put out, and we are an essential.
No doubt.
And we figured these people a lot of them can't get out to get food to make for themselves. And we decided that since we were so essential, we were going to keep going. And we have not stopped. We have not stopped at all.
That's wonderful.
And
no shortage of volunteers either.
No, we lost a few that probably had health problems and decided that this was just too much for them. But you would not believe how many people have stepped up and called and to offer their services and volunteered. A lot of our current volunteers stepped up and are doing, I know one gentleman's doing 2 routes that he only did 1 before, a couple more days a week, stepping up to do whatever needs to be done.
I'm sure that warms your heart, particularly during COVID-19. Did you see a swell of people requesting services from Meals on Wheels?
I believe that in March, when we started out, we were probably doing between 140 and 150 meals.
And now you're doing an additional 50.
And pretty much.
Yeah. And probably if more people knew about it, would be doing even more.
Sure.
Right.
I would imagine so.
What are some of your partner agencies? Who do you work with for supplies or for publicity? Is it mainly the churches that you work with?
Mainly the churches, yes. We really don't have any agency. We get no government funding. We get no food from anyone. It's all whatever we can raise and our clients paying.
Do you ever worry about the longevity of Meals on Wheels, or do you feel confident that the people involved are going to continue to step up and recruit new volunteers to come in?
Oh, I believe that. Because anyone you talk to and you tell them you work with Meals, oh, that's such a great program, and other people saying, well, what can we do? And everybody seems to be stepping up to help out, and I don't think it will fail.
I think that's wonderful to hear, and especially with the listeners of WHJB, and welcome to our Westmoreland Community Connections. I'm your host, Jennifer Miele. I'm here with Cathy Duez. She's the treasurer of Tri-City Meals on Wheels, and we've had a wonderful discussion about this wonderful organization. For people who are just tuning in right now, Cathy, why don't you go over again, what is Meals on Wheels and what are the communities you serve?
Okay, Meals on Wheels we are a private nonprofit, but we serve clients in Greensburg, Jeanette, and Harrison City. We make meals 5 days a week and deliver them to the homes. We're on pretty much an all-volunteer organization, other than one coordinator that takes care of all of the ordering and menu making. She does a menu, and we send it out to the clients at the end of the month for the next month, so that if there's something on there that they can't eat or they really don't like, they can call in and cancel their meal for that day. Our meals vary differently. I mean, she's done. Yesterday we made pasta visual.
Oh, and I'm sure you're very good at that.
Yeah. I've done that a few times. And next week I think we're having tacos. She does. We do pastas. We do meatloaf. We do ham loaf. A lot of different things. And some meals, some of them will call and say, I really didn't like that. I think we've had maybe
they call you to tell you that they didn't like it.
Or they call and tell us that they like it, and it's more often than not that they like it.
That's great.
But like I said, they can call in and say, hey, I don't like that. I don't want it today. But it varies.
Cathy, your energy, your enthusiasm, your commitment to community is just unparalleled. You could be sleeping in now that you're retired Monday through Friday. You could be, feet up and on the golf course or out to eat, but instead you're volunteering your time. Why do you do it?
The organization. I really love it. It's a worthwhile organization. I see what we do, and it's just good. It just makes me feel good.
I think it would make a lot of people feel good to get involved. So how can you get involved? Whether you want to donate or whether you want to volunteer or maybe drive meals once a week, what kind of time commitment is that, and how can you get involved?
Okay, the cooks in the kitchen work from, as I said, between 7 and 7:30 till 11, sometimes a little bit after that. Drivers and runners come in at 10:15. Load up their cars, because we have them all in big coolers. They load up their cars. They are usually back before noon.
So it's that quick. I mean, it's an hour. It's an hour of driving.
Yes, an hour and a half at the most.
It's local. I mean, nothing.
Right.
You're in a 20-mile radius.
Right. Yeah. We have one route I think is like 16 miles long, and that is the most. But most of them are all located. We have 6 different routes within the city of Greensburg, so they're divided up. Right now, our least is probably maybe 16 on that route, and the highest goes up to probably 25. Out in the Fort Allen area, they seem to be running higher than anybody else. But they do it within, like I said, within an hour and a half, and they're back.
So it's Tri-City Meals on Wheels.
Yes.
You can call.
And
whether you want to get involved, whether you need services from Tri-City Meals on Wheels, you guys are definitely available to do that.
Yes.
Donations.
Donations can be made to our post office box. It's Post Office Box 9, Tri-City Meals on Wheels, Post Office Box 975, Greensburg.
And they can send it right there.
Send it right there.
What are your plans for the holidays now? Will you do any special meals for the holidays?
Oh, yes. Jess always plans a special meal. They'll get a turkey dinner, probably the day before Thanksgiving. Usually she does a nice ham dinner before Christmas, and she makes it special. She makes most of the meals special. She's really good.
So they have something to look forward to
Yes.
this upcoming holiday
Yes.
season, whether it be Thanksgiving with a turkey dinner or Christmas with a ham dinner. That's lovely. And you guys try to prepare all that ahead of time so that you don't have volunteers, working all day on Christmas.
Oh, right. Yeah, we do it the day before Christmas, and not really that much ahead of time. It's usually done just that day.
Wow. So it's
have
all fresh, and you're
everything is fresh.
very particular about your details, your
Oh, yes.
freshness, your quality, your safety. And you have to be
Yes.
all the time, not just with COVID-19, but as you said, COVID-19 has changed the way you work.
Right. We always use gloves, but now we're masked in gloves. Anyone in the kitchen, that works with us in the kitchen is masked and gloved.
Did you ever hesitate when COVID hit?
No, not at all.
You
Nope.
weren't afraid to go in, and you knew
Nope.
that this had to be done.
We knew it had to be done. And we had a few people that, as I said, we lost some volunteers. They did not think we should be. But for the most part, I would say the majority of our volunteers said, no, we'll be there. We will be there.
And thank goodness they did, because more than 200, almost 200 meals a day being served throughout Western Pennsylvania here from Tri-City Meals on Wheels. If you're just joining us, my name is Jennifer Miele. I'm the host of WHJB's Westmoreland Community Connections. I've had a wonderful guest today, Cathy Duez, the treasurer of Tri-City Meals on Wheels. I encourage you to look up more, get to know the organization, and really keep them in mind this holiday season, because they do so many wonderful things. Cathy, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
This has been Westmoreland Community Connections, a look at issues and happenings in and around Westmoreland County. Join us again next week on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB.
Westmoreland Community Connections is a presentation of Citizens Fiber.